What's up, y'all? Another Bible study, Bible reading, Matthew 11. When Jesus had finished giving instructions to his 12 disciples, he departed from there to teach and preach in their cities. Now when John the Baptist, while in prison, heard of the works of Christ, he sent word by his disciples and said to him, "Are you the expected one, or shall we look for someone else?" Jesus answered and said to them, "Go and report to John what you see and hear. The blind receive sight, and the lame walk, and the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he who does not take offense at me." As these men were going away, Jesus began speaking to the crowds about John. "What did you go out in the wilderness to see? A reed shaken by the wind? Well, what did you go out to see? A man dressed in soft clothing? Those who wear soft clothing are in king's palaces. But what did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and one is more than a prophet. This is the one about whom it is written, 'Behold, I send my messenger ahead of you, who will prepare your way before you.' Truly I say to you, among those born of women there has not arisen anyone greater than John the Baptist. Yet anyone who is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he." Now that's saying up until John was the most righteous, the best man that had been born over Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. He was the most holy man. And how it says, the one who is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. That means once we're in the kingdom of heaven, once we're living with Jesus and have our new bodies, we're going to be greater than John the Baptist was in his physical body. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and violent men take it by force. Now that's because John was preaching about the kingdom, and Jesus was preaching about the kingdom, and everybody was rushing. Everybody was rushing them. They had crowds rushing them. Almost like they're trying to take the kingdom of heaven by violence, because they were trying to learn, trying to get in. For all the laws and for the prophet and the law, for all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you're willing to accept it, John himself is Elijah who was to come. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. But to what shall I compare this generation? It is like children sitting in the marketplaces who call out to the other children and say, 'We played the flute for you, and you did not dance. We sang a dirge, and you did not mourn.' For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they said, 'He has a demon.' The Son of Man, Jesus, came eating and drinking, and they say, 'Behold, a gluttonous man and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners.' Yet wisdom is vindicated by her deeds." And Jesus is that wisdom. Then he began to denounce the cities in which most of his miracles were done, because they did not repent. "Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Bethsaida! For if the miracles that had occurred in Tyre and Sidon, which occurred in you, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. Nevertheless, I say to you, it will be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment than you," and those were evil nations. "And you, Capernaum, will not be exalted to heaven, will you? You will descend to Hades. For if the miracles had occurred in Sodom, which occurred in you," and Sodom was a very evil city too, "it would have remained to this day. Nevertheless, I say to you, it would be more tolerable for the land of Sodom in the day of judgment than you." At that time Jesus said, "I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that you have hidden these things from the wise and intelligent and have revealed them to infants. Yes, Father, for this way was well-pleasing in your sight. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, nor does anyone know the Father except the Son, and anyone whom the Son wills to reveal him. Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." That's the end of Matthew 11. Matthew 12 is up next. God bless you guys.